All right, we do a unboxing and quick review of this DMT diamond plate. So let's show you what we got. Pick this up. I had got a coupon for Christmas to my favorite store. Picked up this diamond plate. It's a fine and extra fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to unbox it. And we're going to sharpen up, let's see, I picked out, we're going to do a high-speed steel iron and an A2 iron. And then we'll take, we'll plane a couple things. So this might get a little bit long. I'm going to do this as fast as I can. I got some oak, and I take it back, it's ash, and some pine. And let's do this as fast as we can here. So let's do an unboxing on the bench. Get you angled down here. See what's inside this thing. That's probably a good view. I can do it right there. See what's inside this thing, what it's all about. I'm always been a stone guy. I get the DMT plate because I needed it for sharpening other stuff, like carbide, for router bits and so on and so forth. Let's see, these things are little rubber feet kind of things. Let's see what holds this here. And then some sort of holder on here. It says it's a Pro Sharp. Looks like this holder can hold different size plates. Yep. So we got the red one is fine and the green one's extra fine. So that, yeah, you can feel the difference too. Let me make sure you're looking at me here. Yeah. Overall impression. So here's the little feet. These are extra feet in this thing here to hold this stationary. Let's see what it looks like for flat. Let's get some white background so you guys can see this. Yeah, that's probably pretty good there. Hopefully that shows up. It's dead flat this way. It's dead flat this way. I don't even need a, yeah, dead flat. Dead flat. Dead flat. I can see no light through it. So the plate looks really, really flat. Check the diagonals. I hope you guys can see that. You can hear from the way, I'm not going to, obviously I'm not going to try to rock it very much because I don't want to ding the edge on this. Super, super, super flat. I can see no light even on diagonals, which is crazy. I mean, it's obviously, it's not machinist flat, but way, way, way flat enough for anything you want to do in a wood shop. I'm not going to go into the directions and stuff like that. There's all kinds of marketing stuff. We don't need to deal with that. We don't need the extra feet right now. Got some instructions on here. It says sprinkle with water. Okay, so that's important. You don't need any special honing fluid. I mean, it says, matter of fact, it says don't use oil. I use water with a little bit of Dawn Dish soap in all mine. This says sprinkle with water, doesn't say anything about honing fluids. So let's see, we're going to put the fine surface up so that we can start with that. One thing I don't like about this right off the bat is that to flip it, you gotta pull one of these things out. Not crazy about that. I have to come up with another solution to that maybe. You can't pull it out sideways, it sticks really well. So to flip the surface, you gotta pull this, you know, crack in on these feet. I guess I could do that side too. Take one of these out, put it back in. Let's put one on the bench over here. Now, I don't know, and it doesn't fit my bench super well. Well enough though. I'm gonna get you guys, let's do this. Let's crack these irons out of here. Let's see what we got going on here. Did use these both in my last project, so high-speed steel. Don't ever do this. Make sure you see what I'm seeing. Yeah, don't ever do this at home. The lever cap that every single person who works in a shop is going to do. So get a high-speed steel iron. As you can see from me touching it, I mean, it feels sharp, but this is nowhere near real, say, wood finishing sharp. It's not shaving hair, so this is pretty used up. Let's take out the A2 iron. Oh, baby. Well, you're not coming out. There we go. There's a lot of gunk in here, I guess. This is aluminum. I would not use this as a screwdriver. This is A2, as you can see. It's, you know, I'm touching this pretty hard right now. Sharp, I wouldn't say that I don't think it will shave hair. It's not shaving hair. So this is, you know, I used it on my last project. I can feel, wow. I can feel the burr on the back side of this iron. It's actually, on an A2 iron, it's actually rolled a little bit. How can I show that? Let me grab my strop. Show you what's going on. Actually, let me get my bare strop because you'll be able to see it better on that. Look at, okay, right here. Watch this. See that right there? This edge is actually rolled over. There was a burr on the back. I can feel it with my thumb. Clean as day. You can see it right there. So this one's definitely needs some work. So let's get you pointing at the bench. Take these out of the way. Sharpen these up quick. See how that DMT plate does. And what I want to do is I want to sharpen it so that I'm not going to go to a fine stone. I'm just going to use the diamond plate. See if I get you a better view. If I get you to sit on here. This new tripod is just a teeny bit bigger than these benches, these my stools in the shop. All right, that's a really good view. So let's go ahead and sharpen in these. Get my other stones out of the way here. My water stones are in here. So let's do the high-speed steel iron first. This probably doesn't need rough, the rough stone. See, the back's pretty flat. I keep just water and Dawn dish soap and spray bottles here. So we'll dust this one up. I obviously was doing a machine tool on here that got some oil on this because it's beaded up. So Sharpening 101, This one's got a micro bevel on it, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of rock up, see if I can feel the micro bevel. I can't, so I'm just going to go rock this one around, see if we can pull a burr pretty quick. I have a burr here, a little bit in the middle. Yeah, pretty much a burr the whole way across, so I'm just going to go ahead and feather the sides off real quick. Let's take this burr off so I can feel. It's important to do this in between steps, and I don't see this enough. You have to take the burr off in between steps. You have to, because you won't know if you got to the edge on the next level. I just threw all my shop towels in the laundry, so. This is a good way to feel if there's a burr against your thumb right here. Still feel a teeny bit of burr over here. Should have. Let's do this. Rather than finishing on this stone, because I pulled this stone out, my trend here, I intended on using it for rougher stuff. Let's just go straight to this thing. And that's going to fall off. Okay, it barely sits on my block here. This is the fine side. This is way, way rougher than my 1000 grit trend stone is now. Let's try this. Let's just do it on this. So same process. We're gonna just rock up to my micro bevel. Oh man, that is an ugly sound. All right, so this, what it says is the fine side here is pretty rough. It's definitely rougher than my 1000 grit. It's way rougher than my 1000 grit, whatever's trend diamond stone. Way rougher. Now that might mean that my trend is pretty worn. Just gonna feather off the sides really quick. A little further. You can tell by that noise at how aggressive that is. That cuts really, really fast. Let's turn this micro bevel into a full-blown bevel. So you're going to burr all the way across. I'm going to spend 2 seconds on the back of this here because it doesn't need to. It's just going to really scratch up the back. You can see what that just did. That just totally flattened the whole back. Before, I got some of the burrs back around to the front. Before I flip this thing over, let's start on the A2 iron too. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was the A2 iron. Let's start on the high-speed steel iron. Let's do this edge. That cut high-speed steel really fast. Holy crap. I can't believe that was the A2 iron. My bad, guys. Let's do this micro bevel too. This has got a micro bevel on it too. Oh, I wonder why my bench is moving so much. Wow, is that rough? This is a pretty coarse iron, stone. It's funny, my iron isn't registering really well on this. Now you can do it with one hand too if you want. Just push it and look for okay, got a really big burr all the way across. one thing's for damn sure. Wow, I flattened the back so fast. One thing's for damn sure. If you got to flatten the back on some irons and stuff or chisels, break this stone in doing that. So first impression, this is way, way rougher than I'm used to working with. So this now is pretty much, even though it says this is fine, this is now a coarse stone for me. The fine side is a coarse stone for me. The 1000 grit on my trend plate's way finer. So let's try out the extra fine side. It's super fine. Super fine. See how, then we'll take it right to planing. See how it works. So let's do the A2 first. Give you my best impression here of how it cuts. Oh my God. It cuts super, super fast. This is already a big, huge burr all the way across. I'm just going to feather the edges of this real quick. And make sure that we don't have any burr left on it. Just kind of some light, yeah, Jesus. Just teasing the burr around there. It's coming right back and forth. I'm not going to strop these or anything. We're going to go right and plane with them just the way they are. So my initial impression is that this thing cuts wicked fast. Wow, that burr's really going back and forth. On A2, I've never seen the burr move like that before, to be honest with you. You can see, I hope, this is nowhere near polished. This is nowhere near that fine. Let's see what cuts here. I don't know, can you see the hair just falling off my arm? Hope that shows up in the light. So it does cut hair, not well. I would believe that even on this extra fine side, I don't know if you can see the coarse marks on this, but even on this extra fine side, my 1000 is finer. So let's finish this one off on it. This is about time this one got ground, I think. Look at how fast it removes stuff. Let's go a little further out just so I don't have to mess with that anymore. Sorry about that noise. My bench is rocking all around. Burrs move back to the front. Stone's awesome for flattening backs. I think that might be what I use it for in the shop, to be honest with you. It's way too coarse for edges. Let's just tease the burr around a little bit. Try and give it my best chance here. It's a very coarse edge. Pretty much shaving me cleanly on the high-speed steel iron. Hopefully you're catching the hair in that just right. This is a much better edge than the A2 iron right now. So if you can see just shaved me perfectly clean right here. I'm gonna actually just try to spend another second on this A2 iron, see if I can give it a good shot. Get some hairs on there. Wow. I might have to strop this A2 iron. I think I just got rid of the burr. Now it feels keener. Oh, the burr's just moving back and forth. One thing's for sure making the back flat. All right, let's go to planing. I'm gonna get you guys set up over here. So, yeah, that's a good view. Put them back together. We'll take some planing passes here. Let's start with the line, run the grain up. See what kind of thin stuff we can pull with this. Put this thing back together. Of course, I took the wrong iron with me. See what we get right off the. I'm gonna set it kind of tight. See what we get right off that diamond plate. See if it's viable for just using that. I don't believe it is. Will it get this cutting? Sure. It's gonna get this cutting. It's gonna get this cutting, but I don't know how good. Definitely shaves hair, which is good. It's not the end all be all in planing wood. Wintertime blues on my shelving here. Toad's starting to get a little loose. Weird. That one squared up. Sure you see what I'm seeing? Yep. All right, so no problem on pine. Let's, before I take the pine out, let's go ahead and do the A2 iron 2. I don't know that I have super. I love cutting with A2. I don't know that I have the highest hopes in the world for this edge, but we're going to find out. That's a little bit far away. Let's get a little tighter. Ding the iron in this Norris plane. See if we can get this one cut nice and straight. Just see, get it out first. Okay. Come on, thing. Oops. All right. Ooh, that's pretty close. Let's back it up just a hair. It's cutting kind of nice. Something's dropped it. All right, let's try it on some this ash. It's either ash or white oak. I think it's ash. These are going to be much tougher cuts. So unfinished. Get the grain going the right way. Let's see what these will do on this. This is going to be full width cuts, except for camber. Actually, kind of give me a kind of a red oak look here. No trouble cutting this. Fairly smooth. Let's try the A2. Wow. It's cutting this like nothing. The A2 is actually cutting better. The A2 is cutting a lot better. Actually, it's almost no effort. Full length. Well, full length for where I'm cutting right now in this high spot, but full width, full length. It's like, it's actually cutting this like it's not even there. It's amazing. Don't know if I could ever get the light right to give you a view of the surface finish. Obviously, it's, you can tell by the thickness of the shavings here that the surface finish is really good. So, initial impression. Let's see if you're looking at what I'm looking at. Yep. If I get my head down there. So, initial impression is the results don't match what it felt like on the stone. These results are much better than I had anticipated when I came off the sharpening stone. There are no imperfections in this edge to take a cut like this out of pine. You know, obviously I ripped this. There are no imperfections in the edge. This one, for some reason, I was having a little trouble getting the side-to-side set. It's the fastest cutting stone I've ever used that you could come off of. It's a little more planing while I'm talking. It's the fastest cutting stone I've ever used. just coming off the stone and being able to go right to, or the plate, it's not a stone, being able to go right to work. It's coarse enough to where I wouldn't need another one. I would not need, based on the way that cuts, I wouldn't need a coarse stone in the shop. Now I don't know how that's going to wear. These are full width cuts in oak. Now obviously oaks, you know, these are no joke. These are gorgeous. Oak's not the end all be all. I have, let's just try it. I know that, I don't think the Shelton will do it, but I've got some white oak right here. Let's try, let's see if the A2 will cut the end grain. I doubt the Shelton would. This would be as much of a torture test as there is on the earth. I don't know, without going to a low angle jack, if this would work. But this is white oak, end grain. Number one, we got to go harder on the cap iron, get a little bit of chatter. Before I go harder on the cap iron, I'm going to back this off just a hair. Oops. Obviously, the surface isn't very true. This is wow. This is a torture test for this. I'm cutting that white oak end grain like this. A little shocked. I haven't got a full width yet because the surface isn't trued up, but it is cutting white oak end grain. I take it back. This is red oak, I think. Okay, I don't know that the Shelton's going to do it, but we're going to try it. No problem. This is certainly, now I use the Shelton as a smoother. No problem. Cuts it fine. Reasonably shocked, to be honest with you. Let's see what that did to the edge, how this edge held up. pine Untitled right here. See if I can get a full width shaving out of this pine now after doing that to the edge. Any of you that know planing know what that end grain just did to this edge. The edge is pretty beat. I'll show you this here. I'll try to go a little bit deeper, but you can see I think the edge is pretty beat up, I think, but that's still amazing for, let's see if I get a full width one. I don't know how thick I have to go to get full width. So you can tell the edge isn't perfect anymore. It's coming apart in some of the real thin sections. It's not real bad though. That one's pretty good. I think maybe just it wasn't, after beating that on the end grain like that, that's pretty amazing. Let's try. Let's see, we got left of the A2 iron. Get the wood shape of the iron here. Don't quite have the shape yet. This looks like a little, looks like the iron might have skewed. I'm getting there. Getting there. So what's happening is that you got to get the wood down to take full width, kind of thin shavings like this. You have to get the wood to the shape of the iron. These have slight camber on them. It looks like I might be a little proud. Might have a little more iron sticking out on the left than on the right. That would be consistent with what I'm seeing. Let's see if I can get that dialed in a little better. This one, it goes the opposite of everything else on the planet. Grab something. Sometimes it's easy to use the tap method on these irons, and it's still not all the way over. Still not all the way over. Now I gotta cut on both sides. Just any imperfections in the edge. There's a pretty good knot in the front of this too. It's a pretty smooth piece of wood, the rest of it, but there's a pretty good knot. You can see the knot right there. So yeah, so what do I think? Shocked. I don't know what to think. I mean, I'm a stone guy. There's stones in here to 30,000. It feels horrible using it compared to my pretty worn in 1000 on my trend plate. Feels horrible using it. Feels coarse as running it across, 80 grit sandpaper. The edge it produced is exceptional for that. I didn't strop. I mean, you can see, well, you can see my bare strop right there. My, let's see, Arkansas stones, my strop where once upon a time I used compound, and now I've never put compound on it again, but I used the furry side on this one and the smooth side on that one. I didn't strop these. They shave hair. You can see my arm shaved. It didn't shave pleasantly, but it did shave. They're producing very, very reasonable shavings. This end grain right here, you can see it's red oak and it's not white oak. You can see the medullary rays on that. I wonder if I could get, this is rough sawn, I milled these. If I could get a light